Ew. It rained last night, so we covered it, which is kind of funny that I have to cover this car because it's like, it looks terrible. But the reason it's covered is because the seals around the windshield, the front and the back, are leaking. So you get a lot of water down in these corners, and that's not good. Unfortunately, it started raining before I covered it, so some water did get in. And so today I'm gonna let it air out while we work on some other stuff. All right, so one of the things that I'm gonna try to do today is get the gas tank in. The gas tank goes right here, and it was pulled out before I got the vehicle. I think it's in okay shape, but it needs to be cleaned on the inside and sealed, so that's the focus today, trying to get it back in here so that this thing is not running out of a plastic bottle. That's my goal, is to be a little bit less dangerous and semi-legal. Ew. Ew. It's mushy. I put in some rust converter in here to help with all of this rust, and now the paint is like bubbling up, which is fine. It's gonna get removed. Gross. This is the gas tank, and I already took some like rust converter to the outside of it and tried to clean up the rusty surface, and then some black spray paint. This white is actually the rust converter. It's kind of left on here, so I need to go over this before doing a final paint. But the big thing here is actually sealing the inside of this. And there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I found several people talking about using vinegar to convert the rust on the inside, other chemicals. I ended up just buying a kit that has theoretically everything I need, so let's give that a shot. So this is a 3-part process from my understanding. You have to clean the inside of it, then you seal it, or you clean it, then you prime it, then you seal it, I think. Drain fuel, done. Seal all openings with duct tape, will do. Oh no! Come back! Dilute with 1:1 with water. And let the tank soak, but always rotate it at intervals to ensure it covers all surfaces. Okay.
It'd be fun to do with like a F-350 tank.
You just put it in the back of another truck and then drive off-road.
There you go.
It would do it automatically. Ew. Okay. Oh, I have a leak? I think I do. I wonder if I could see where it was coming out. Oh, there it is. All right, so I found a little pinhole, which could be a problem, maybe not, I'm not really sure, but right here, and it's on the top, which is good, but you can see the water shoot out of it right there when it's under just a little bit of pressure. So luckily, since that's on the top, I don't think gas would ever actually shoot out of there, but it's still not a great idea to have a hole in your gas tank. So once I try to seal this, we'll see if it fixes that hole, because it's supposed to. But it really depends on how big the hole is and all that stuff. Worst case, I can get a replacement gas tank for like 150 bucks or something. Now, of course, I have to let that dry for like another day before I can do the third step to see if that even works. So we're gonna move on to this and doing some body work here, and actually not doing body work here. This is really cool. This guy named Craig, hey Craig, sent me a message on Instagram and asked if I wanted a new engine lid, this entire piece here, because he had one sitting around from a 1969 that was in better shape than this one. It's not in perfect shape, but it doesn't have any through holes. This one has tons of through rust on both sides, and he was nice enough to drive it down, and we ended up, I swapped the luggage rack that was on the back of this for the engine lid that he had. I think I made out better there. So we have a total replacement piece for here with fewer holes, less rust, all that stuff, but I still have to strip the paint off of it. Check this out. The outside, the outside is in much better shape and is gonna be a lot easier to clean off. There's a little bit of surface rust, not a big deal. No giant holes, no dents. It's in pretty good shape considering it's from 1969. So I just have a whole bunch of sanding and paint stripping to do. does it smell like fish? It's gross. I do have a sandblaster, and I'm going to be using that eventually, but it takes a really long time, and you go through the medium that you're shooting onto it. So I'm trying to get as much removed as I can with a brush and with sandpaper and stuff like that, and then I'll come back and use the sandblaster in these pitted areas that I can't sand out, and all these little detailed areas. Wow. It does not want to like open. It really does not want to open. That's... What in the world? Wow. This is dumb. Why won't it open?
Did you insult this can earlier?
Yeah, I've been talking down to it all day. What in the world? What is happening? Sealed on the inside somehow. You could use a can opener on the bottom. It's hot out here. Oh, okay.
Nope, just normal lid.
Goodness gracious. After a whole lot of sloshing around in this thing, I let it sit for 96 hours, and now it has this really cool epoxy coating. You can actually see it right here. This is where the little pinhole was, and so I painted some of it on the outside. I'm pretty sure it sealed that up, but the inside is really cool looking. It's like this whole silver, and it has a really smooth coating on it. Might be hard to see, but the inside of this is sealed. Unfortunately, some of that stuff also got in these threaded holes. This is where the sending unit goes in. And so right now I'm taking some screws and I'm kind of running them through these to clear out the threads before we can start putting it together. But the only thing we don't have is a gasket. There's supposed to be a gasket right here, and I ordered one, but it's not here yet. So I found this rubber fiber sheet, and I want to make sure to point out that this is sealing oil, water, or gasoline. Okay? Just want to be really clear that it is for gasoline. So I'm going to use this, cut out a gasket to fit right here so that we can move ahead. Should probably point out that even though I'm making a gasket for this, it's not going to be the one that's going to stay on here forever. This is just a step to be able to get this thing in the car, get it drivable. But I do have the correct rubber gasket on the way, and so eventually when I pull this thing out again to redo the entire car, I'll swap it out. There's also a rubber seal that goes around the outside of the tank, around this flange where it goes down, but I don't have that either. So I'm making another temporary one with some EVA foam. We're just gonna put it down there, and really this is just to cut down vibration on the tank when it gets bolted in, which we're ready to go do now. So I was about to put the gas tank in, and I realized that I should probably clean out the fuel line just to make sure that it wasn't corroded or didn't have stuff on the inside of it. I started running some degreaser through it, and it puddled out here underneath the car. And I found that the rubber hose and the metal tube that connect together had become disconnected under here. So I was able to find that, get that connected, and hose clamp together. So that's really good. Now I think we can actually put the tank in and hook it up to the engine. Okay, so that can go. That. Oh no! It's got fuel in it. Go in there, fuel. This is just in place enough for me to get it to the farm so I can take it all apart. So it's kind of temporary. That's my goal, is to get this thing drivable to the farm so we can take it all apart. Like, take the entire thing apart and start fixing it, because I'm not gonna be able to do it here. That doesn't seem good. These threads are messed up. And I was hoping that the gasket maker would fill it enough to keep it threaded on, but it didn't, which means that will not seal, which means gas will come out. So one of the problems that I'm finding with making videos about an old car is that you have to order the parts. And even though the videos are on a schedule, parts are not. And so I ordered this thing a couple of weeks ago. The new one has not shown up. And without a replacement one of these, we can't hook this up.
Have any idea when it should be?
No? Oh, it's so close. Come on.
Bob, how do you think you pronounce this word on here?
That one?
Yeah.
Octenzanholdebarf. Octenzelbedarf.
Is that how you say gas in German?
Regular gas. Octenzelholdebarf.